Yes, we are in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to your free weekly Be Lucky podcast with me, Daryl Carter. Just to give you an update on the Patreon page. We've been flying along. We had a really profitable month again last month. Over 40 points in profit. Over 25 points in profit to Betfair SP. So if you're considering joining, there's no better time to join. And if you want a 20% off your first month, please do contact me or comment below saying in, and I'll get to you and give you a 20% discount. But what a weekend we've got to look forward to. Sandown, the Coral Eclipse. What a race. It looks like it's going to be a fantastic race indeed. There's some brilliant action over at Haydock. A few fancies on the card from myself over there, as well as at Sandown. This is your ITV Racing Be Lucky podcast. Let's get stuck in. Okay, we're going to start over at Sandown. The first race on ITV is the 150 Coral Charge Group 3 over 5 furlongs. And if you've been watching this podcast for long enough, you can understand what I'm about to say. This is probably not going to be a race for me to be getting too involved with. I don't like the traffic that can happen at Sandown. They normally converge towards that rail. If you can find something drawn low and can pop out and make the run-in, you get a distinct advantage, and that is just facts with the 5 furlong sprint course at Sandown. Now, if I was going to play in the race, I'd be looking at something like Saratoga Special, who's a very big price here. Drawn in stall 3, I would just be slightly concerned that the traffic may scupper the bet. That would be the honest truth. I thought Saratoga Special was a useful horse since I see her in her first 2 starts as 2-year-olds last year, where she was running behind Treasure Isle. Clocked some really decent furlong by furlong times that day, and bounced back to form last time with a ready win at Ayr. I think she is underestimated in the market at a big price, but is it enough for me to overlook the potential traffic issues? Enough for me to overlook the biases on the Sandown course? I don't know. I don't know is the honest truth. But if I was going to have a bet in the race, it would be between her and Balmoral Lady. But the reality is there's better races to be punting later in the day, where you can sort of almost take away that nonsense that you know is going to happen on that 5 furlong straight course at Sandown. We'll stick at Sandown this week. We'll move on to the 225, and then we'll do Haydock after that. Treasure Time heads the market here. Best price 3-1. Greek Order ran so well on his first start for Michael Bell at Ascot behind My Cloud in the Royal Hunt Cup. 4-1. These are best prices. Classic Encounter 7-1. Classic 15-2, not to be confused. Tribal Chief turned out fairly quickly, having really ran poorly at Newcastle, to be honest. Didn't get much of a run, but still wasn't over enamoured with that performance. He is in here at best price 12s. Arasaig 14s, Mursky 16s, Principality 20s. Too Tempting, who has been a horse that has thrived under these Sandown conditions previously, 20-1. High Royale 28-1. Looks stuck between a rock and a hard place now, doesn't he? High Royale, who has gone very well when fresh. Perhaps he might be one to catch returning next year when he's dropped down the handicap. 28-1. Galeron is interesting. Colin Keane rides 28-1. Tribal Rhythm 33, and Tarkan 50-1. A little bit boring, I suppose, from myself, because I'm towards the top of the market here. Treasure Time is a horse that I had a lot of time for last season. I thought he was a very well handicapped horse. The form has subsequently worked out really well. Now, he had a few entries at Royal Ascot. He got balloted out of a couple of races. So, to me, I think he's probably been ready to go for quite some time. Tom Marquand could head over to Haydock for some decent rides there, but he's chosen to come to Sandown, and that may well prove significant. Treasure Time is definitely a well-handicapped horse, in my opinion, particularly with that form from York at the back end of last season, where he slammed Volterra, who has shown up really well in group company since. Look, this is a nice horse. I think what will get him beat is probably fitness if he's not quite ready, but he's drawn in stall 1. He should pop out. He should be handy, and the only real excuse he should have will be if he's got a lack of fitness. That, my friends, is out of your hands. But I undoubtedly think he's the best handicapped horse in the race. Treasure Time in the Coral Challenge at 225. Moving on to the 3 o'clock, the Coral Distaff. Blue Bolt heads the market here. She absolutely slammed home. Really, really did give punters a real good run for your money but well backed at Newbury, beating consecrated for William Haggis. All hand and heels that day from Colin Keane. I think they knew what they had that day, with the market speaking very favourably for her. This is a tougher test. Coming out of stall 3, though, hopefully she should be ridden quite handy. I think you do want to be handy on the round course at Sandown. And I think she probably just about edges it for me. She's around 2-1. That's just a little bit on the short side, I feel. I was actually hoping for a lot, sort of like 11-4 minimum, really. But she is obviously well fancied. Cajole is second in the market under Ryan Moore for John Gosden, 6-1. Bermuda Longtail, 7-1. Victory Queen, who clung on at, was fortunate to win her last start under William Buick at Ascot, 7-1. Miss Tonnier, 10-1. Could be a bit of a springer in this market, I think, because she returns to good ground and she's shown a decent bit of form in 4 starts so far. Supermodel for William Haggis looked very nice 34 days ago. Tom Marquand is here to ride, obviously. Double figure price, 10-1. Can see her shortening the market. The rest are 14-1 and bigger. The market, I think, will move like this. Put it this way. I think Supermodel will come in from a double figure price. I think I could see her going off about 6 or 7-1, maybe in the top 3 in the market. I think Victory Queen will drift off 66 days. I'm not sure she's shown quite enough. And her rating of 89 is well off what's going to be required here if the official handicapper is correct. So I can see that one pushing out to 10s. I can see Miss Tonnier coming in. I can see Bermuda Longtail perhaps taking a drift, looking a little bit exposed now. So I think that the market will probably hold tight with Blue Bolt, Cajole, Miss Tonnier and Supermodel. I wouldn't put you off Supermodel as an each way play in the race, to be honest. But I do think Blue Bolt could be a little bit, not special, but could just be a class above her rivals here and perhaps contest Group Company down the line after that really nice performance at Newbury 23 days ago. So Blue Bolt would be the selection for you there. The 3:35, the big race of the day. Come on, the Coral Eclipse. What a race. Brilliant race. £1 million guaranteed. 10 furlongs. 567 grand to the winner. And here we have potentially one of the best horses in training anywhere in Ombudsman, who's turned out 17 days after that epic win at Royal Ascot. What a price he was that day. After timing. But no, I did tip him. But Ombudsman was electric, I thought, at Ascot. And I thought if he would have got the gaps at the right time, he probably would have won by about 6 or 7 lengths. So 2 lengths doesn't do the performance justice. He still clocked the fastest final furlong in the race. The race, as many people said at the time, did it collapse? No, not according to the sectional times. There was no pace collapse in the race. He recorded the fastest final furlong by a country mile. And like I say, he would have won by 5 or 6 lengths had he been granted a clear passage. This has always looked like a potential superstar. He obviously needed the run here behind Almacan. I've seen so many people saying, oh my God, Almacan must be this, must be... He was trying to give him £3. He was trying to give him the run of race. He was trying to give him race fitness. No. Ombudsman is by far the best horse, in my opinion, in this race. Sosi, second favourite, 9-2. Delacroix, 6-1. Camille Pissarro, French Derby winner, 15-2. Ruling Court, 12-1. Hot as Hell, 33-1. Be aware that Hot as Hell may come out of this because of the ground, but I suspect they'll probably want to get another run into Hot as Hell and really get him going for the season because he's only had the one start. That came 42 days ago. I have a funny feeling that they're going to try and do the same old Ballydoyle tactics that they always try and do and turn a race into a farce. I don't like the fact when we've got real good race like this. I know the two horses are both worthy to be there because they both achieved plenty. But my God, please don't let this fall into the hands of a Ryan Moore and a Ballydoyle tactical balls up. Because we've got some really good horses here. Sosi needs a strong gallop at this trip. Ombudsman's got to turn a foot, but is a very strong stayer. Ruling Court, we're not quite sure where we are at with him at the moment. Delacroix, I do know, has dictated most of his races to win. He's dictated from the front and quickened away. And if Ryan Moore's allowed to do that again, Jesus Christ, I'll be screaming and pulling my hair out because we won't get a true result. So It could be tactical. Ruling Court could be a play in the without market, maybe, if we get a nice, truly run race. But I think Ombudsman, for me, I think he's a very, very smart horse, guys. I really, really do. I think he is a world beater, personally. So I'd be very much with Ombudsman in the final ITV race at Sandown. Right, let's head over to Haydock for their ITV meetings. That kicks off at 2:05. That is the Bet365 handicap. Valiancy for William Haggas heads to the market here at 4-1. Many Men next 11-2. Ames 8-1. Way of Stars 8-1. Novelist 9-1. Deepwater Bay 10s. Prince of the Seas, who goes markedly up in trip, 10-1. Polestar 12-1. Last Galileo 14-1. Bonnie Moon 18-1. I would be absolutely flabbergasted, really, if Valiancy wasn't better than an opening mark of 80. William Haggas has brought this horse along very slowly. First start at Newbury was all about travelling into the race. Can you travel on the gallop? Second was pushing him through a gap between horses and then really seeing what he can do off the bridle. Just ran out of racing room. That was here at Haydock behind Polestar when he finished strongly. And then lastly at Hamilton, it was a much more polished performance, despite the fact that he was 1-7 on. Now, make no mistake about it, he's definitely not the form horse in this race, so you could easily argue that he shouldn't be favourite. But I do think that this is probably their Melrose horse going forward. He did win the same Hamilton race as Dramatic Star did last year for William Haggas, and I think he's building up to a big performance. I think, if you ask them, I think they'd be shocked if he ended the season of a mark of 80 or anywhere close to it. I think we'll be looking at closer to 100. Many Men is undoubtedly the form horse in the race. His form ties in with Merchant. He was 4 lengths behind Merchant at York, previously behind Sing Us a Song, and then got off the mark in good style at Doncaster last time to get back to winning ways. He's now a 2-time winner at that venue. However, he is the form horse in the race, and he should be feared by all for whatever you're backing. Other than that, I thought Prince of the Seas might improve for the step up and trip, but I would be absolutely flabbergasted if Valiancy is not better than this mark of 80. Harry Davis takes the ride. Tom Marquand, as we said, is over at Sandown, but Harry Davis, 3 for 6, 50% for William Haggas. So I'm not concerned at all about the jockey booking. And he did ride him on debut, did Harry. So very much looking forward to Valiancy, who carries very little weight and could end up being towards the 4 of the market for that valuable Melrose handicap at York later in the year. The 240, the Lancashire Oaks. What a very, very, very disappointing turnout for this race. Very valuable race. 70 grand to the winner. 70 grand. Come on, man. We'd all love to have a bit of that 70 grand, wouldn't we? You've only got to trot round for 4 for 6,700 quid. That's not a bad day out for Love Talk for Grant Tour, who's the 50-1 outsider here. A Strange heads to market 4-11. Scenic 10-3. Nuit 33-1 for Henry de Bromhead, who has had very good success of bringing his horses over this season. They get the 3-year weight allowance, the 2 outsiders. But this is all about Estrange. She could be very special indeed. And I think she's a Group 1 winner in waiting. We won't spend too much time on this because of the prices of the horses. But I would just say Scenic has been picked up by Wafnan Racing. Now, I've had a theory about Scenic for a long time, is that she just loves York. She loves York. I don't think she quite performs to that level anywhere else she goes. So it'd be interesting to see how she gets on here. But the Lancashire Oaks will and could and should go to Estrange. The 3:15, a really, really good race. The old Newton Cup handicap. 16 runners. I actually expected the Reverend to run in here, but he hasn't turned up. So I've gone back in and done a lot more work on the race. Heading the market is Ed Walker's Sir Lowry's Pass at 5-1 best price. Plage de Havre for Andrew Bolden, 7-1. My Dream World, he was disqualified last time for overuse of the whip, 9-1. Stress Free, been very good money spinner for the yard this year, 9-1. City of Delight, 10-1. Paddy the Squire, 10-1. Chillingham, 11s. Minstrel Night, 12s. I can see him coming in price. Night Breeze, 12s. Soul KO, 14s, and much bigger the rest. I think the favourite will win. I think Sir Lowry's Pass, stepping up in trip, I think is a really good avenue for improvement for him. He did best of those from the midfield in the Zetland Gold Cup last time behind Liberty Coach, and the runner-up who actually came out best on the figures, See the Storm, and went on to chase home a nice horse at York next time in Burrito. I think that form's pretty solid. I think he's a progressive horse, unraced at 2, so could be lots more to come. Again, stepping up to that mile 4 trip, I think that's the avenue for improvement right there. And I think he'll take some beating if Paul Mulrennan can get a good tune out of him. Paul Mulrennan, interesting jockey booking, right? But still, so Lowry's Price going up in trip. I think he's a good bet. Of the rest, I thought Dangers would be Minstrel Knight if he's on a going day. Minstrel Knight did win here at Haydock last year, but in my opinion, he wants to go back up to a mile 6 and he wants digging the ground. But he did shape quite nicely behind our Patreon winner Sam Hawkins at Hamilton 20 days ago. He's entitled to step forward for that, and I think he is well handicapped when everything falls in his favour. City of Delight is one that's interesting, I guess, moving up in trip. Bumped into a really well handicapped horse at Windsor last time. The move up in trip is just a question mark. He won at Epsom and looked really good, strong at the finish, but it was a sprint finish. I think 3 or 4 horses broke the 11 seconds mark at Epsom that day, so you can tell how quick the sprint finish was there. And I just wonder why in sort of 8, 9 starts have they not sent him over a mile and a half already. Perhaps they were looking at targets for the back end of the season, I'm not entirely sure, but he is one of interest. But for me, I think Sir Lowry's Pass is well positioned throughout the race. I think he'll be strong at the finish. I think it'll be tough to beat. That wraps up the ITV races. The big race of the day at Sandown, the Coral Eclipse. Come on, Ombudsman. Show them how good you are. We all want to see a superstar, right? That's what racing's all about. Whatever you're doing between now and Saturday, have fun, do it with passion, but most importantly of all, be lucky.